You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
Hey, what's up, people?
What you doing?
All right, we got another podcast coming to you straight from Zod and Drea.
It's been another fun-filled week.
Of course. So, we had a lot of good things that were going on. Like I liked yesterday that we had the SOS, the Save Our Schools over in Arizona, where a whole bunch of nonpartisan teachers, parents, and friends of teachers are sitting there, led by Beth Lewis and the team to help save our schools over here from the voucher programs that DeVos and Doug Ducey and some of these other people in the government are trying to do, which is destroying and dismantling pretty much the public education system.
We're not taking it. The voters aren't taking it.
So they're not taking it anymore. They're sitting there fighting, and you can see some of the photos over on, I think I posted on our page. If not, it's on the Redline Designs page, but you might be able to see them on the internet. You're going to see a lot more of them going on. So shout out to Beth.
And Dawn.
And I was about to say, and Dawn, for putting some of this together, as well as Sharon. Sharon Kurt, she works a lot on some of these projects. And all the teachers out there that are making a difference to everybody.
As you can tell, it's important to us.
Yep, it is. So let's get into this. We are going to be talking about, our movie review.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
It's the one thing that was really highly anticipated, and I know they made a bunch of money. I never did really check it. Maybe I'll look at it in a second to see what they made, but I know they made a whole bunch of money off of that. Secondly, what do we have? We got the off-topic, which was...
We're going to talk about our experience at attending the first annual Golden Girls Trivia Night.
Now, think about this. Do you guys know about the Golden Girls? The Golden Girls are funny as hell. I don't care, man. It was on NBC, a while back in the 80s. What did they say? Barry said something like 85 to, I
89,
forgot.
I think?
Nah, it went in
early
the 90s.
Yeah.
They went into the 90s. But if you've never seen the show, maybe you're young, I don't know. But come on now, the Golden Girls were dope. Funny as hell.
This event was really a huge study in social grouping. It was great, so we got to share it.
So we got to share that. And obviously, we got to go to the main topic, which is going to wind up being, when is the right time to compartmentalize our friends? We got a few of those friends that, we've had for a while, but, things change. So, where are they in our lives now? So we're going to talk a little bit about that and see what happens.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see where we do that in all of our lives.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, not just friends, but, family members, things, people that you just don't see that much further off. And so we're going to talk about that in our main topic. But right now, let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. Volume 2.
Groot ruled.
Yeah, I am Groot. So little baby Groot, if you haven't seen the first one, Groot got blown up. He sacrificed himself by saying something different than I am Groot. He said, we are Groot. Mm-hmm. And he got destroyed. So he wasn't able to help Ronan the Accuser to gather the Infinity Stone that, Star-Lord and Gamora, Drax, and Rocket all had to capture. So, it was good to see that after Rocket planted him in a little pot at the end, that he was able to grow back. So he's growing back, and now he's independent, probably a toddler.
Toddler, yeah, I was just going to say toddler Groot.
Yeah, so he's like toddler Groot, they call him baby Groot, and he's completely unaware of his surroundings. So Guardians of the Galaxy had a really great start at that, to where they started off their entire movie with the gigantic fight where they were battling this pretty much this armored monster.
It was like a worm parasite.
Yes, it was
gross.
Huge. But they were all trying to fight it in order to help the people of the sovereign, whatever they were, the golden people. They were these golden people who really felt that they were higher than thou and, elite people.
Their makeup was so good, but what freaked me out were their eyes, because even their eyes were golden.
Yeah, so they were just a golden people with their hair, eyes, skin, makeup, everything was gold. Their clothes, everything was gold. And they did a really good job putting that together. Well, after they successfully defeat the monster and, they wanted something back from the people, from the sovereign people. Mm-hmm. Now, what they did was they were protecting a battery. They were protecting batteries for it, for whatever reason.
Some kind of power source.
Some power source, yeah. And, their prize was Nebula, who escaped the Guardians and is Gamora's sister. from Thanos. Not blood related to Thanos. Thanos pretty much made them battle each other until poor Nebula, all of her body parts were being replaced by machinery each time she lost.
Because they were both orphans, right?
Yeah, they were both orphans, if I remember right. And he kind of took them in, but he made them, he tortured them until they were battle-tested and they were warriors. So they were getting Nebula back to take her and get their money. And, horrible sibling rivalry. But
the worst level ever. I mean, let's just say it's worse than Cain and Abel.
Yeah, really bad. But of course, Rocket, being Rocket, after Star-Lord's getting his flirt on with the High Mistress, about to set it up to get his smash on for a later date, there's Rocket, who has to steal batteries. Drax knows about it and laughs. Of course, he's laughing the whole time. Drax laughs at everything
this
that's
was such the Drax movie. I became such a big fan.
Everything was funny. Everything was funny to Drax.
He's like, you're disgusting.
You're disgusting. He was just insulting people. Has absolutely no decorum. But that's what starts it. The battery's stolen. The sovereign people are after him. I mean, they get chased and onto a planet, and then Star-Lord finally locates his missing father. And considering he was able to hold an Infinity Stone in the first one, you knew that, not just an Earthling was able to do something like that. So you find out where he's part Celestial and, which is almost God, really.
And who's his dad again? Luscious Locks.
Oh, his locks.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell's hair in the 70s were on, or 80s, whatever he was. But God, his hair was on point. And what's funny is every planet he was on, he still had the luscious locks and the jacket.
They really, really made fun of that. It was great.
So this movie was more emotional. This had a more emotional touch between characters, from the characters of the audience. Mm-hmm. Whether you had Rocket and Yondu, they had a nice little connection. Rocket and Yondu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they had a connection. I mean, the only one who didn't really have a loving connection was Groot, because he was just doing his own damn thing. But, Star-Lord, what is his name? Peter Quill and his father, as well as Peter and Gamora. And then Gamora and Nebula.
That was good. I liked that, how that was written, about their exchange of how they could be sisters now.
Yep. And Drax and, Drax and the woman.
What's the girl with the antennas?
God, the antennas. Mantis.
Oh, yeah.
Mantis. It's funny because she's really pretty.
But he calls her disgusting.
She was disgusting. She was hideous. He was hilarious. He wanted to throw up.
No.
But the makeup was really good. All the computer effects. If you want, definitely go see Guardians of the Galaxy. But definitely, if you want, read the review on the ZodAndrea.com website, because you'll get a lot more out of it from there. But definitely see it. Plus, it made $425 million worldwide.
$425 million.
That's not bad.
Jeez.
Anyway, I don't want to encroach on your department, which is going to be the off topic, which is Golden Girls, because I know this is your expertise.
Look,
and I'm going to step by.
I have been a Golden Girls fan since I can remember. That was the thing that was played in my house growing up. It was just this funny show that was on. I don't remember if it was before Cosby Show, or how they put that in the whole alignment, or was it before? I don't know. Maybe it was Hill Street Blues.
It might have been a different day. I don't know.
Different day, but it was a staple in my household watching that, and I just carried that on with me. So when I get into a relaxed mode and I just want to just see something stupid and funny at the same time, but also is kind of witty, I'll throw on some Golden Girls, right? And that's just my happy place. Well, our mutual friend Barry,
shout out to
Barry. He also is a big fan. But I didn't know the level of
Barry. Fan. Barry is on another level of Golden Girls fan. He
can quote every line almost.
He was quoting not just lines, but he was talking about which season and episode, to the point where even the host was like, "Oh, look at this guy,"
So when Barry invited us to participate and be part of his team, it was the first annual Golden Girls Trivia-thon at a local bar here, and the bar is called Cobalt and is predominantly known as the gay bar, but it's a great mix of people there. Yeah. So when he decided to ask us to participate, I was like, all right, babe, we got to do some crash course studying, right? So like every other day we'd watch an episode, and Zod was there with me.
Yep.
Taking in the studying, and
I was there. I knew like three or four answers.
You did.
I knew a few
really
answers.
well.
Man, these questions though, they were hard as shit.
It wasn't simply like, what city were the ladies
No,
living in?
they're like which set was ripped down, and out of the two cities that it was done, one was ripped down, and name both cities. I'm like, what are you talking about?
And the bar was maximum capacity.
It wasn't just packed. The news media came, and we were literally watching them interview the host while we were still playing the game. It was that big.
Like, I noticed in the outdoor patio area, they had to put more chairs on the outside of the patio area just to satisfy the crowd that was coming in to participate in this trivia game. It was a ridiculous amount of people. We didn't able to sit down until halfway through.
They even had video. Questions.
Yes.
It was like, okay, what do they say next? So they play like a part of an episode, then boom, what was the next line? Man, my man Barry. Okay, so first of all, it was packed.
Beyond packed.
So we had first place winner, second place winners. One was for individual, one was for group. We had some crazy name.
It was some Viking name that he made.
It was actually something that Rose said.
Oh yeah,
it was a character that Rose.
It's a name for when poop turns
white. Yeah. So that was our team name. So Barry had that, of course. So we're talking about a pack. It was so tight that it came down to a tie, and it was a sudden death question. And the sudden death question was a math question about Blanche's real age that they had given up in one episode where they named the year, but then they also named her age at the time. So Barry had to guess at the age of when Golden Girls had debuted in '85 or whatever it was, how old Blanche was, and let's just say Barry got it. We got first place, which was
we got bragging rights for a year.
It was all mugs, and it was a cool cooler, a cooler full of alcohol. It had Absolute and all kinds of alcohol.
It had like sunglasses. Like it was for
netting.
the beach. It was towels too in there.
The towels in there. It was actually really cool. But I mean, man, in second place, they were haters. They were looking at us hard. But what was funny was they didn't have as much, but they still had a cool ass cooler with a whole bunch of shit in it. And I'm like, yo.
And they had, remember, their embroidered shirts. Each one of the other
they were serious
members, the other opposing team, all had embroidered shirts with the name of the character. So what we learned from this was that gay or straight Golden Girls will get a crowd going and together, and we'll have each other fighting for the end death battle. It was great.
Please listen carefully.
Once again, make sure you listen to the Zod and Drea podcast by subscribing to one of the following podcast methods: iTunes, Google Play, or YouTube. Visit our website at www.zodanddrea.com to go directly to the links, or if you choose, you can listen to each podcast episode directly on the website under their individual posts.
Want to get involved and have your voice heard on the next podcast? Then be sure to tune in to the question of the week on our website, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram page. And dial in and leave a message on our voicemail at 323-963-4221.
If you're an advertiser who would like to have your 30-second or 1-minute placement on our podcast or YouTube episode, please contact us at info@zodanddrea.com and we'll send you a price list. Space is limited for each episode.
The next podcast might even have you as a featured guest.
Tune in, check us out, and get involved.
All right, people, let's get into this. This topic is going to be a lot of fun. Obviously our topics come from things that happened to us during the week, so they don't just pop out of nowhere. So, they're conversations that Dre and I have regardless. And this one was a really good one, just looking at how people are in our lives, how other people are in other people's lives. And this topic was cool, which was just when is the right time to compartmentalize our friends.
That is a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big word.
Compartmentalize.
That's a big word.
Shit.
That's a big word. And so what it was for us is looking at how our relationship evolves, right? So you start a relationship. This goes for anybody. You start a relationship with who you're with, and you have your group of friends or associates that are with you, and you both bring them in together, right? When you start the relationship.
Uh-huh.
And as you evolve as a couple, you look at, all right, who's sticking around, who really does support you, and who's just there, maybe adding drama or just putting on some heavy weight that maybe it's just not needed right now. So we got to look at, I know for myself, really look at what friends and what am I surrounding myself around that is supportive of what I want in my life. What is it that I want to pursue? What is it that I want to grow? And obviously our relationship is the number one factor in what I want to build in my life and make this fantastic life together. You know, we encompass business, we encompass our families and friends. So it's now looking at, all right, who's really there for the long haul, right? Who's there to support? And it got us thinking about, well, when is that time that people usually think about when to compartmentalize our friends? So you look at like the compartmentalization. Some people look at that as it's a bad thing, right? Like, why you got to separate things, right? And the way that I look at it is more like, okay, look at, let's say, work life, right? Say you go to work, you're 9 to 5, right? And when you go home, are you still bringing work home? Mm-hmm. That's an example of a compartmentalization. How do you separate two entities that are still you, but yet need to keep them separate so that you can still fulfill on what it is you want for your own happiness, your own mental stability? I know I try not to bring into work into home, right? The work that when I used to have over in the corporate environment, I always made it very clear, and it was just a natural way for me to separate. You know, work is work, and then when I come home or when I'm done with work, I'm done, and I'm going to have a good time, have my life. It's what's separating, right? So I look at it as more as a healthy way in this environment that we're in right now, in this world that we're being bombarded by so many things, right? We're bombarded by media. We're bombarded by our demands in life. How do you then really focus in on what's important to you and filter out some of the stuff that ain't so important? So that's what I had to do.
Mine's different. It's like the way that I think. I mean, I do think coworkers and all that other stuff, but I'm talking about the impact that people have in your life at that moment. So for me, it's such as, you grow. You're growing. There are people that, you were close to coming up in the game. You know, maybe you went to school together. You went to college together. This is my boy, yo. I'm like, this is my man, my BFF, this and that. Or, this person was like, knew me when I was in this facet of my life. This person is this important to me. This is, this and that. And then all of a sudden, maybe they move away. Let's say they move away to California or something like that. They get a big job and, suddenly you don't see each other as much. It's like, oh, that's still my best friend, this and that, whatever. But then someone else comes into your life and you're like, oh, this person's cool too. So then you start hanging out with that new cool person. You got to now try and figure out, oh, that person, that's my best friend who lives over there, who I now talk to once every, few weeks because they live in a different state. And you don't, it's not that you don't have anything in common or anything, but your commonalities are now changing because you have some other people that are new in your life that are now continuing to help you grow. And when you grow, you don't know if you're going to grow left, right, in what direction, but maybe that person that you used to do keggers with back in the day, or you sat in the man cave who moved to California, you just have a different dynamic. So it's like, okay, is that still my best friend, or is that just a friend who's a great friend? Is that now an acquaintance? Is that, somebody who is different in my life? Dynamics change. You wind up getting to like for me, you get in a relationship. We got into a relationship, and a lot of dynamics changed for a lot of people. For me, it's like a lot of women fell to the wayside where they're still friends, they're still friendly, but they're not that close anymore because we don't have that camaraderie anymore. We don't have those conversations anymore. Some of the fellas that I used to hang with, I don't get to hang with them as much. I still can, I can still call the ladies, I can still call the fellas and hang out, but in a day-to-day, it's like my life is consumed a lot more with, what we're doing in our daily things, our business together. We're trying to get Zod and Drea LLC, put together.
Activism.
All our activism that we're putting together. So it's you compartmentalize, and it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. It doesn't mean that I am losing you as a friend. It doesn't mean that, but maybe you are now a piece of something in my past. Maybe we can reconnect in the future to build that up. But right now I have something else that's going on. And that's okay. I don't mind being on the opposite end of that and being that person to you, you know, if that makes sense. So I think compartmentalization is okay, but you have to look at your life to find out when it is an appropriate time to do it, but you have to be real with it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you're not real with it, then, you know, you just have a whole bunch of people that are hanger-ons. And, like, what are you going to do with them? Like, literally, what are you going to do with them? It's like, okay, hey, come on over here. And then, you know, you get with them again, and it's not the same. It's not what you remember it was to be.
Right.
You know, it's like, God, I remember what we used to do. It's like, God, it's not the same. Let's try to rekindle this. Da-da-da. It's almost like trying to get with an ex-boyfriend or a girlfriend. You know, it's like, you know, you try and get with your ex, and it's like, you know, we're kind of different now.
And if the two of you, you know, whoever is in that friendship, the other person's going to know it's not right. Like, not right, I should say. It's not the same, you know. You guys can try to reenact stuff, go to the same spot, you know, but it's not the same. And for some people, I've noticed that it's hard to admit that. It's hard to admit that times change and people change. And they just can't let go of, okay, that awesome time that we had together. Oh, that moment in time when we did this and we did that. You have to let go of what that was. Yes, it brought to the point of where you are today in life, but it happened then. And you can't bring that into the future anymore because you can't duplicate that anymore.
And that's what people do. They try to duplicate what's in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are people who do move forward. Like, I mean, my boy Bill's gonna be my best friend forever. Like, I mean, he's just been there and he's always there. Kristen's gonna be my best friend. You know, she's always there, has always been there. You know, there's certain people that are going to be in your life no matter what. Dynamics may change in the future. But when we get together, it's like, boom, you know, you start talking. Like my man, not to put him out there, but my man Doodles. Like, I mean, in college, we were tight as hell. Right now, we're not as much because he lives all the way in Virginia. I live here. Same with Shinhwa. Shinhwa lives all the way in, Atlanta. So I'm not as close to him like I was when we were both living in Jersey. But between Doodles and Shinhwa or, you know, Mez or whoever, if I wanted to call them up, be like, yo, I'm coming into town, I know for a fact, like same with Manchild, Randy, it's like I know for a fact that, or Steve, you know, Verbal Canvas of Black Ink, that if we got together, it would be like magic happening all over again. Mm-hmm. Because there is still a dynamic between us that we have that is like, it doesn't get lost. It's just in limbo. I know it's like, yo, the big hug, and be like, yo, man, we'll start go over the past a little bit, and then be like, yo, what you been up to? Mm-hmm. Then this time, like, I know the conversation will just move forward. But a lot of people, you have to know when to compartmentalize that. Like, when are you like, well, you know what, I don't really talk to this person anymore. And sometimes what people do that I respect on Facebook is they'll just get rid of them. They'll get rid of them. They just be like, yo, delete. You know, you'll see that thing. Hey, if you still see this, then, you know, you're still important in my life, you know. And I love the fact that I make it. You know, I'm sure there's some that are on there that I don't see. But, you know, it's like, there's like, I know this girl I knew, I came up with Misty, who I met in Brooklyn. And then I saw her, was maybe a year and something ago. Not even too further, like a year and something ago, traveling back to New York. And that was the last time I'd seen her in person. But then, you know, we were like all this time from like 2003 all the way until now, like we were cool. And, you know, there's probably like a little something between us, you know, a little glint in the eye, but, you know, nothing that was pursued. But all of that time, though, like 14 years, you know, or 13, you know, she had asked me a favor on Facebook, and I guess I didn't get back to her fast enough. When I'm talking like within an hour, and I would have been like, yo, no problem. You know, I let everyone do it. That you want to use me as a reference, no big deal. All of a sudden, she disappeared. Boom. Off of Facebook. Like, I mean, she may still be on Facebook. I don't know, but like, I have no communication with her. You know, she may have removed me as a friend.
So do you think then that type of action, which is so common in Facebook when people just unfriend, do you think that is a cheating kind of way out
it
of,
is. It's
out
like
of actually having that
hanging
conversation?
It's like hanging up the phone.
Yeah.
But what was weird was, you know, with that situation, I know she wanted something from, which was, I just didn't see my Facebook post. Then I had even reached out to her on LinkedIn. I saw her. I said, hey, you know what? Yeah, you can use my name as a reference. If you need me, just give me a call. I haven't heard from her. So I'm like, okay, you shrug. It's like, what can you do? It's compartmentalized. She compartmentalized me. I compartmentalized her. I'm like, oh, okay, I see where I am in her life, but it didn't hurt. So
right.
Since it didn't hurt, I guess she had already been compartmentalized as more of, friendly, but an acquaintance.
An acquaintance.
It's like, okay, I know her. If she wanted to, she can say my name, but I'm not going to bend over backwards for her or anything.
But you make the great point about, especially with Facebook and social media, right? Who really are your quote unquote friends? When you really have who's your friends and are people that like you said, like you brought up all your all your friends that that are going to be there, and I know I got a crew that no matter what, if I don't see them for 6 months, I don't talk to them, or maybe years, we can reconnect.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. And it's like just like we didn't miss a beat with each other, right? But with Facebook, it's like, okay, what relationships truly are ones that are contributing to you that that will help you, or just ones that are just you compartmentalize, like, okay, well, this person's good for my career, this person's good for maybe if I need a connection for something, or this person's good, like it already almost in a way does that. And I wish they kind of put maybe subcategories for people, but then I guess people would get hurt.
Yeah, they might. there is a sort of way to do it. You can actually, I think you can still do it. You can group people. But it's like, that's what you do. You have to segment sometimes your friend. And, it's funny. Some people automatically do it where they automatically know where someone's supposed to be. And that's what they call it, the friend zone. Remember the friend zone? It's like, oh, I like you. Yeah, but I don't really like you like that. You're like a brother to me. Boom, friend zoned. But that's compartment. Like, I'm already going to put you in this category until later on. Then all of a sudden he lifts weights and shit. But anyway, you have to put people, there are certain coworkers that you have to segment. There's some people who wind up telling all their business to a coworker, not knowing this is not your best friend.
Yeah.
Or a person who just lives close to you, or who knows what. It could be anything, a family member, and you're not that close. Before you know it, your business is all out there.
So when do you think is a time to do that? Like, is it when drama occurs? Is it when a confrontation happens?
What do you mean? When
is it a time then that it's like, okay, I need to look at this friendship or look at this relationship and I need to compartmentalize that? I know for me, it was drama. It was, he said, she said, was going back and forth, but I wasn't involved. So it's like, all right, it's time to talk to that person and confront them and see what's going on. This is how I feel. And also looking at myself like, all right, really, how am I behaving in this relationship? And let me just call myself out on it.
Right. And with that's just being honest, 100% honest with you. And then you never know, with something like that, you might wind up being better friends because it was so honest as to where you are in the position. Otherwise, you may even split up even more. But, the realness is out. It's like, okay, this is what you really are to me. Or, we were faking the funk, trying to be something. Like, the glue really isn't as tight as we're pretending it is to be.
And people know when you're faking the funk. It's just like, no one wants to talk. Let's call it out. It's like, for what? Just, when you're faking, just be real and move on. My feelings ain't going to get hurt. I got stuff to do.
Like, I got shit I got to do. I got stuff I got to accomplish and things I got to move on with. And like me, I've never had a problem with that. It's like, use me for what you're trying to use me for. I would rather you do that than try to pretend you're my friend and try to get over on me that way. It's like, just tell me what it is. You're either my friend, like you're my friend, or you're friendly towards me. But a friend, I think, has to be a two-way street.
Do you think that whoever, let's say you have a friendship or a situation, somebody doesn't want to be honest with you because they want you to like them?
Yeah, a lot of people want to do that. They want you to like them. I mean, God, they have movies made for that. It's like, shit, and single white female. You know what I mean?
Like me, please, like me.
Like me. Like me for who I am, which is you. People do that, but, I don't mind segmenting people into that. It's like, this is what you are to me, and I know this is what you are to me. Just be real with me if that's what I am to you. I have no problem with that. If we want to work on that and build something a little bit better in the future, cool, we can do that. Otherwise, we are where we are.
Right.
If it dies out, then it dies out, and then we remove each other from each other's lives.
Don't try to hold on to something that's dead.
Nope.
This is good.
All right, people. You know, that was it with that topic. That was good, though. That was really good. That was good. I like that one.
I really want to hear from you guys about this topic. Like, this is really cool to talk about, and I really want to hear from you guys about a situation you've been in or what you think about compartmentalization in your relationships.
In your relationships, whether it's family, friends, coworkers, whatever you do. Also, make sure you check us out, ZodandDrea.com, at ZodandDrea on all the social networks. And what we're also building is
this is cool.
Is a directory of businesses of people of color. It will be coming soon. It's being built right now. So if you have a business that you would like displayed on the Zod and Drea website, please get with us, and we'll see what we can do about putting you up there.
We're all about promoting our businesses here.
Yep. So we're going to be starting off in the Phoenix area first and then spreading outward if we can. But for now, you know, you got to support those Black, Latino, Asian, and Native businesses because they don't get a lot of shine. So let's see what we can do, all right?
Till next time.